Every expert was once scared to start. Have you ever seen somebody do something and you feel like this person is an expert? Most people forget that the people we call experts, they were all scared to once start their journey, just like all of us. And in order for them to overcome that, they had to go to 3 main steps. And today I'm going to talk to you about the 3 main steps that can take you from being scared to start to put you in a position of breakthroughs and wins. Step 1, scared to invest. Have somebody made you an offer? I'm afraid, what if it doesn't work? My question to you is, what if it works? What if the only thing that is holding you back right now is the fear that you are feeling? The only way for you to know is to dip your toe in and start taking the step towards what you want to do. It's normal to experience fear when you're starting anything new. It's normal to experience fear when you are not sure about what you're about to do, especially if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of savings, and somebody is asking you to make an investment in yourself. It's sometimes very scary because most of us have not been taught the idea of reinvesting back in ourselves. So we find it very scary for us to be able to take a chunk of change and put it into something with a hope of improving ourselves. But we all know, how did the school education system work? In order for us to go from one grade to another, we needed to pay certain fees, show up every day to get certain results. But we think that as adults, it doesn't apply to us. We feel like as adults, we are supposed to know everything. No, the human brain doesn't just know everything. It needs to be trained. It needs to be nurtured. You need to learn the things. It's okay if you don't know how to get from point A to point B and you're not willing to sit in front of a screen for hours and watch YouTube videos and you want some accountability. It's okay to pay somebody in order for the person to help you to get from point A to point B. It can be digital marketing skills. It can be web design that you need for your business. It can be anything that can help you to move the needle forward. Sales, marketing, whatever it is. Tell yourself that being scared to invest is very normal. It is not crazy or out of the box thinking. It's a very normal thing. And it's the first and most important step you need to take in order to start getting the ball rolling. 2, nothing works. Now that you've made the investment, you started to convince yourself that nothing works because you tried it once or twice. Maybe somebody told you that you need to start posting more on social media. You posted about 20 posts and nothing is happening. And now you've convinced yourself that nothing works. Somebody's trying to teach you how to be a better salesperson, but after a few calls, you say it doesn't work. This is one thing I've learned. Volume negates lack. The amount of work and effort we usually think it takes is usually more. So whatever you're thinking in your head, multiply it by either 10 or 100. Because until you've given yourself a good enough chance of doing a lot of the thing to have real data that doesn't work, you can't just have a few tries and say it doesn't work. Take a typical person in your industry and ask them how long did it take them to get to the level they are at now today. You just see them as people who are performing at a certain level, but we don't realize that it's taking a lot of reps for them to get to this level. Let me give you an example for myself. You see me today doing videos and stuff. I was not always like this. I couldn't even speak to a camera. I was a very shy kid growing up. But you have to realize that in order for you to get better, you have to do it so many times. So take this notion out of your head saying nothing works. In order for you to know whether it works or not, you have to give it a really good try. When you're working with a coach or a consultant, work with them from the beginning to the end. Don't just start in the beginning, you try a few times and say something doesn't work. If you're doing YouTube and you're posting and you're not getting results, give yourself a good 100 videos to tell yourself that it's not working. And based on that data, you can see, okay, this style or this format doesn't work, so I'm going to have a different approach. But if you start telling yourself that things don't work, you're going to convince yourself from doing anything and you're going to get very little results that you're proud of because you're somebody who starts something and don't finish. So it's not that nothing works, it's that most people don't spend a good amount of time giving it their best shot in order for it to actually work. 3, breakthrough and wins. When you've given something a really good chance by doing it many times and approaching it from many angles, you start to learn very rapidly. You start to see what works and what doesn't work. It's very, very easy to start to see a trend when you start to do a lot of volume. I'm yet to come across someone who has done a good amount of volume without getting good data from it. Start looking at what is working and what is not working, and you start to see breakthroughs. You start to see a few contents go viral. You start to see that people are now converting on your calls. You start to see progress with your sales. So once you start to see progress, now people start to look at you as, oh, somebody who is winning. But don't stop at winning. Don't feel like you have arrived because there's still a lot of learning that needs to take place. We learn in business by doing. We don't learn by just saying or speaking. We learn learn by doing. The more you do, the better you get. The better you get, the more you gain. Every single person you've come across that's making some strides, they had to go through the steps. They had to go through the beginning stages to get to the point of winning. And when you're at your breakthroughs and your wins, it's not the end. You are still learning and improving from there. You just know more than the average person to get certain results over a predictable time frame. All of a sudden, people start to see you as a genius. It's like, oh, your idea works. You are lucky, XYZ. But all the behind the scenes things that you had to do to get to this level, they don't see. You now know why the people you perceive as experts didn't start out like that. They started just like you. Breakthroughs are not some supernatural thing that happens. They come from doing the work, making mistakes, working through the mistakes, and figuring out a way to make it work. Once you go through this 3-step process, that is scared to invest, number 1, nothing working, number 2, and getting to your breakthrough, number 3, even when you have a setback, you understand that this is the path you need to go through in order to get to where you were before. And this is why when certain people make a certain amount of money, it's easier for them to get back to that level, because it's easier for them to find their path back to where they were, because they are not trying to figure out everything from scratch. When you're starting out, most people spend their time of being scared and overthinking and thinking that certain things will not work or people will rip them off. But once you start to have a winning formula that works, it's easier for you to work it. Here is the lesson from today. Most wins start with a leap of faith. As the word once says, faith without works is dead. If you start making moves in the direction you want to see results, the chances of you seeing results is much likely to happen. If you are watching this video to this point, type in the word faith to make me know you watched from beginning to end, and let me know what your biggest takeaways are. My name is Kimbwari. If you enjoyed this video today, then click here to watch my next video.